doing? It's Tom Numbers. I'm here with Matt Geiger from Verity Metals, and we're 24 days in now. We do the daily show, and we're 24 days in to Trump's second public bona fide presidency, and it'll be the 24 days out of the 100. So we're doing the countdown of the 100. We'll see what happens in the first 100 days. So as always, lots happening, and good to see you again, Matt. You're back in. We got the same colours today. Look,
we do. Yeah,
we got the khaki kind of military dress going on. Yeah.
I'm home, back from Hawaii. Great time. We had a great little get together. Me, some friends, my lady. I don't know what else to say about it, but it was definitely a lot of fun. Long flight though.
So who let the dogs out?
Yeah, you come home to the dogs, where the dog sitter left a few 2 hours early than us getting back, so we had a little bit of a mess to clean up, but that's okay. They're all good boys, and girls.
Who sung that? Was it the Pow Wow? Who was it? I know the song "Who Let the Dogs Out," but I'm trying to think of the Pow Wow Band or something like that.
I don't remember. Everybody knows the song, just no one remembers who actually created it.
It was one of those, wasn't it? It was a one-hit wonder. Yeah. Well, maybe they had two, but that's the one we remember. So what have you seen in the? Well, one. Okay, so I haven't listened to all of the address yet, but 2 days ago, when Elon Musk was in the Oval Office with President Trump, and Elon gets it looked like about 30 minutes or so. He's got his son X with him. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it to you. So if you do X, and today's appropriate because it's 24 days into Trump's presidency.
Right, X is 24.
X is the 24th letter.
Right.
And so we're 24 days in, and which is basically a week and a half or a week and 3 days. But X plus Musk is 64. X is 24, so if you do X Musk, which is the kid's name, that comes to 88, which is Trump. And you've got Trump there, you've got Elon there, and you've got X Musk. And I did a tweet on that about 2 weeks ago. And I said X Musk, and I showed the numbers on it. And there they are. There's the three of them. So you got
what's cool about it, What's cool about it, they had little X by the Resolute desk, right?
Kind of imagery of
symbolic.
Of John. I know.
Yeah. That was fun.
That's what they're doing. They know what they're doing. But I knew those numbers, and I did a tweet there. It was about, people look back on Twitter. It was about maybe 2 weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, X is 24. X Musk, that's 88. Trump's donation campaign number was 88,022. That's Trump MAGA. Trump deal.
Yeah, breaking the eights.
110. 110 is Elon Musk. Say again.
No, breaking the eights.
Breaking the eights. Yeah, okay, how about this? So this is another piece of all of this. So you've got Elon Musk, 110, which is 88 plus 22, which is Trump's the campaign number. That was the text donation, So 88 plus 22, Trump plus 22, Trump plus MAGA, Trump plus deal, art of the deal, comes to 110, president, comes to Elon Musk. Then you've got X Musk, which is 88. So you've got Elon Musk, 110, president, plus X Musk, which is 88, Trump. So that's President Trump, 198. And who's there sitting at the Resolute desk? President Trump, 198. It's just like, it's getting so like on the nose now. It's just like, it's always there. And it's always there. It's always there. It's always been there. And now it's like, are we going to bring it? So you've got Barron, and then you got X. I was thinking, 8 years' time, X will be, 12, something like that.
Just real quick.
They're lining all these characters up for a while.
Just real quick, we just now, RFK Jr. was confirmed.
Was that official today?
It's official just now.
Had they stalled that long?
Have they what?
Had they been stalling that long on it then? Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I really don't follow these confirmation hearings. I find them to be very boring.
I don't know all the stuff with all the different tiers, like Senate, Congress, whatever. I remember when it was a big deal that he was talking against the Senate a few weeks ago, and I was
I
like,
think,
so he's just been announced. It's confirmed, yeah.
yeah, I think we're just waiting now. We're waiting on Cash Patel. So I
Okay,
think
so
that's going to
Tulsi got
be
in
the
yesterday, yeah.
Cash didn't get in yet. No,
No,
Cash is
no,
still
but
waiting.
Tulsi got in yesterday, didn't she? I think.
You would know better than me. I've been a little bit out of the loop. I've
I
been in
saw a
some of the
picture.
loop, but
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that she
when
was
you're
like
cruising in
watching
Hawaii,
recently.
you're not always
I
on
thought
top of the
it was,
news. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, it's the edge of the earth, isn't it? It's the edge. It's pretty close to the ice wall, I think. Yeah.
Could be, could be. It's definitely close to the equator. It's a really beautiful place. But anyway, yeah,
It's beautiful. It's peculiar. You definitely feel. When I went, I felt kind of on the edge here. That's what it felt like. I was like,
yeah, okay.
I'm miles away from anything here. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because they filmed Jurassic Park there.
I know.
Well, one of the places, and that was done on Oahu. They actually have.
I know.
I drove by it. I haven't been on the tour, but I've driven by it a million times on the highway.
Yeah.
But they have like the Jurassic tours,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you can go up into the mountains, and that's where they did a lot of that filming.
There's
But
a military. I say base. There's a military something up at that top bit because you can see there's a beauty spot where with the bit you're talking about Jurassic Park. You can do helicopter flights around it, and you get the mist mixed with the with the rainbow and everything else. And it's right there on that what do they call it? I can't remember now. It begins with N, but there's that coastline. But just as you look at this, there's many vantage points, but the one just as you're looking out, just behind, there's a military observatory thing, and it's 169. That's the number, which is the Great Awakening. I remember that. I was like, okay, I remember that place, and that's where they did those famous shots of, like you say, Jurassic Park. Yeah,
yeah. But back to the confirmations. The big one I think they're going to stall is Cash Patel.
because he's going to release the list, isn't he?
He's going to be the one that's going to release the list. The
Yeah.
person. Yeah, I don't want to say it on YouTube, but the Mr.
I think
E,
we're okay saying it, but yeah, we'll limit the amount of time. But yeah, him, that list,
the Jeffrey E list,
the knocker list, the knocker list.
Yeah,
yeah.
they're going to release. He's going to release that. I mean, I heard he's going to do it within an hour of his confirmation. That's what, because it all came from Glenn Beck.
How many names are on that list? How many names have they said?
I mean, I would imagine probably many dozen, maybe hundreds, probably hundreds.
160 maybe. Yeah.
I mean, people were trying to say like, oh, Trump's on the list. Trump's not on that list. He's
not on that list.
Mr. Jeffrey E showed up to Mar-a-Lago one day. Trump was working with the feds.
Yeah.
As an undercover.
He banned him.
Yeah, he banned him.
Yeah.
But if you remember, Trump back in the 80s was working as basically an undercover agent for the FBI to take down the mafia.
Yeah.
So people, they tried to slant this and put him. There's nothing worse than like lying about somebody.
Yeah.
Saying stuff like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And I guess it's good because you have the leftists in kind of a position where they have to just purely lie. I think we talked about this in the last episode. Like, if you watch the debates with Trump and Kamala Harris, all she could do was lie. Anything that came out of her mouth was a pure lie.
Yeah.
Right. But it's good because they've been, building up lie on top of lie on top of lie, and they can't explain it away anymore. Now that this evidence is going to come out, there's nowhere to go. This is what I think Q meant by drip, drip, flood.
Yeah.
So I think we're at that phase where it's drip, 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 and then they're going to start flooding this stuff here one of these days.
That would be great. That's what the storm will be, or part of the storm. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, it's there's something else I was going to say with that. So guess what the numbers are on FBI?
Tell me.
17.
Really?
Yeah. So all this stuff about the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago. We know
that my gematria calculator while I talk to you.
Yeah. So FBI is 17Q. And so
you're right.
starts with this PSYOPs, and then it's like infiltration within infiltration. But reverse infiltration is 239, which is 1963, which is that's the year of Kennedy. So this is what this has been, is reverse infiltration. So the FBI, in reality, are in Trump's pocket. All of the other stuff is theater. And so they're doing raids. They're taking down people that need to be taken down as well,
Because you have to remember is that most of these organizations, FBI, CIA, We're gonna have to call you back.
That's the bat phone. That's the FBI calling
That's
you.
the actual office line. I give out my cell phone number on your show, but we do have an office line.
Yeah.
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 I do think that these organizations like the FBI, many in the CIA, I do like to believe that most of these people are good, decent
See,
people.
we've got 17 in the chat right now, Matt. There you go. And it's 173, so 3 thumbs up. That's 17.3. 173 is the date of, that's Trump storming numbers 173. Knights Templar 173. And
Interesting.
183 is redistribution. But if you go from JFK May 29, and if it was just 1 year condensed up to November 22nd, that's 173 days. So what we just said about Q and 17 is correct, because that's why they can move the numbers around on things like this on the algorithms.
Well, just looking in some of these news headlines, I'm on Gateway Pundit, and Maxine Waters. I actually watched a clip before we came on here. She said to Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve, she says, "We don't know what they have on us," meaning when they look into their records, because that's what Elon was talking about in the Oval Office. Was he was talking about, hey, we're questioning how these people that are making 100, 200 grand a year, how they work tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right. And Maxine Waters is prime example of that, right? People talk about Nancy Pelosi, right? Maxine's one of them. All these clowns. So I think when we start looking into the bank records, we're going to find some very interesting stuff, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
And what's crazy about the USAID, we were talking about USAID. What was I listening to? The USAID stuff. I mean, that stuff goes freaking deep. Like, we've been funding, I mean, God knows what behind the scenes. And the way they were doing it was some like bond scheme where they're actually creating like legitimate bonds and then borrowing off those bonds. And then because it's a loan, the person that would cash the stuff in wouldn't even have to pay taxes because it was borrowed money. Right? Just some elaborate scheme that I can't even explain, but it's just so, and they do it right out in the open. These are they do it in the bond markets.
Yeah.
So it's mind-blowing stuff that how this corruption, and it's everywhere. And the crazy part is we learned that the New York Times got I think they found so far $5 million. That $5 million is going to turn into $5 billion or 10 billion. It's going to be some insane number.
It's going to be Austin Powers. It's 5 gazillion number.
And that's why their readership can go to nothing and they're still thriving, is because they're getting all this kickback money illegally through USAID and organizations like it.
Kickback and Austin Powers kickstand. There's it's everywhere. Everything's manipulated, and that's why they're allowing it to be shown. It's like this, all of it is being manipulated. But you do get to talk to real people, and you reach out. People do connect. What was I going to say with the what you were just saying before then? What was it? There was something I was going to say.
USAID.
Yeah,
New York Times.
Yeah, and
Federal Reserve, Maxine Waters.
That was it. Yeah. So you were talking about that and the bond market and debt, and because it's debt, it's a loan, there's no tax on it. So I remember, I've seen this a few times, you probably have. So there's a quote, I'm not sure who it was, or maybe someone created it, but it makes sense. They said, if they're able to print money out of nothing, out of thin air, then why do they need to charge people taxes? Because it's actually about control. It's about control. It's about control and harvesting people's energy. That's what it's about. It's controlling beings, because they can just print money out of thin air, so they don't need to, as you just given an example there. There's that part with its debt, that's out of nothing, and then there's no taxes on it. But in reality, it's a fractional reserve banking system. It's the creature from Jekyll Island, which is 310. And the quantum financial system 310. So the counterpart to that, it's the same numbers. Trump 310 down to Yuma, the wall, the Malachi 310. But if they can make it out of nothing, why do they need to pay taxes? The answer is they don't. And that's why Trump is going for no income tax. That will be what he's already mentioned that a few times. That will come into law soon with him. And then it'll probably be all of them. All taxes will go. So they don't need to. No one needs to pay taxes. They don't need to charge taxes. It's actually bollocks, and it's actually fundamentally illegal because it's an illegal court. The whole, you go way back, and it's all BS anyway. But it's a
Starting
nice
19
way of thinking about it. It's like, if they can create out of nothing, why do they need to pay tax? They don't, and therefore it's about something else, which is about control and energy and harvesting people. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, what was I going to say? Darn it, I forget what I was going to say now.
It will come back.
Yeah, as far as taxing the people, he wants to do it through tariffs, right?
Yeah.
So what are they doing now? They're starting to blame tariffs. So I think what this whole process is going to do, the more exposure that you have, whether it be, USAID is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, this is just the small tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
There is a whole web of payoffs and corruption, you name it.
Yeah.
But I think what this process is going to, the exposure process is going to get people so fed up that they're going to get to the point like, yeah, why am I paying the government anything? These guys are just funneling my money.
The Fed.
Yeah, fed up with the Fed. Exactly. We got to get fed up with the Fed. We talked about the Fed in the last episode a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Right. The Fed has an on-balance sheet and an off-balance sheet. I think the off-balance sheet is $2 quadrillion.
Yeah.
Right. And they're just hiding that money. And when that exposure comes out, that's where, probably the precious metals is probably a good place to be, because that's when people realize it's just going to come in at one moment in time where it's going to be like, oh, our money's worthless.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And I think you have to break that trust between people, their government, people, and their banks, because at the end of the day, it's like, if you look at USAID, a lot of this money went through like UBS.
Yeah.
It went through some of these major banks, right? That at least we know about so far, allegedly.
That's it, because there could be loads of off-balance stuff as well, isn't there?
Say again?
There'll be off-balance versions of USAID as well. So there'll be ones that they found and that they can, but then there's others that Space Force would have got anyway that is off-balance. It's off the books anyway, which would be the bigger amount.
Exactly.
The tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And I mean, what they've done with Social Security, I mean, Elon was talking about at the Resolute desk. What did he say? There's 150-year-old people that are collecting Social Security. Who's collecting this Social Security? So they're not
only. Did he say 150-year-old?
150-year-olds.
So do you know what he was coding with when he said that as well?
Tell us.
So if you know the phrase "pull the plug."
Yeah, of course.
So they say it in Terminator 2. They say that judgment they have, and then they pull the plug, and then there's Trump pull the plug. 150 is pull the plug in numbers. So Elon could have said it was 140-year-old or 149.
Right.
But he said 150 because he's getting ready and he's saying, it's about to pull the plug. Like you said, it's all going to go boom. And thank goodness. But that's why he chose that number, because it could have been anything. It could have been 151, it could have been 160, but it's 150 because it's pull the plug. And it's also Trump train. So you pull the plug and the Trump train continues, that, where everyone gets, where the world changes. Yeah. Yeah.
The crazy part about Social Security is that none of that money, it's never been accounted. Inflation's never been accounted for. So these people that are getting, up there in age, 70, 80 years old plus, they're getting, what, $1,200 a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, this would have been legitimate money back in like 1970. Yes. But today, they haven't accounted for inflation. That payment should be not $1,200. It should be $12,000. So one of the things that I've always said is, why not back Social Security with gold, right? Account for the inflation dollar for dollar using ounces of gold, right? And give that person a really great retirement. I run into all these people that, they're 70, 80 years old and they're getting nothing for Social Security, and they've worked, they've been, 60 years in the workforce. It's like, okay, where is this? What happened to them? This is their money. This is the deal, as Trump would say. This is a deal your government made with you. They're going to stick to the deal. I have no problem with Social Security. In other words, but as long as, that money is being managed properly. But what are we seeing? What is USAID? USAID reminds me of, FTX, right? FTX a couple of years ago when that happened with Sam Bankman-Fried. Remember all that? Mm-hmm. That was the first sign. It should have told everyone, right? What do we learn with FTX? FTX was funneling money back to Democrat politicians. They were putting it right back in their coffers. And that was a multi-billion dollar. I mean, that made Bernie Madoff look like a little leaguer.
Madoff, who made off with the money.
Madoff with the money. That's right.
They're always telling us.
Yeah, whatever happened to his
Bernie, burning, it
Yeah.
burned, it made off. Bernie, it disappeared and made off. Bernie made off with the money.
Yeah, and it's these should be warning signs to people. It's like, okay, you saw FTX. Now you're seeing USAID. What do you think you're going to see in 3 months from now, 6 months, a year? You're going to see all these things get exposed. And all it's going to do is expose the system, right?
Mhm.
So I'll give my company another plug. This is why you have to get into the precious metals, is because it gets you out of this system. If the dollar completely collapses, gold is going to skyrocket. Silver, hopefully, at some point will skyrocket when they take the manipulation off of it. I mean, silver should be 10 times what it is right now, right? But that's a whole different, whole different beast. But yeah, I mean, and
They'll
you can
both
see right
rise.
now
If the dollar crashes, they'll both rise, won't they?
they should. I mean, silver's the bank killer. So if silver starts really shooting up in price, the banks go out of business.
Yeah.
So I would expect silver price going up to coincide with the collapse of the actual banking system.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. And that's got to happen. If you want to get back to reality, you're going to have to destroy the current system.
Yeah.
Just no way around it. Right. There's ways probably of, I've heard that Trump's going to walk the country through bankruptcy, right, et cetera, et cetera. But there's going to be some pain, and it's not to fearmonger. It's just to say, hey, this is a necessary event that we need to see happen if we want to get our country and our world back.
Yeah. And did you see the tweet? Well, the truth on Truth Social that President Trump put out yesterday.
No, tell me.
It was either yesterday. I commented on it yesterday. So it was either yesterday or the later hours of the day before. So he basically said Biden. What did he say? He said Biden inflation up. He said Biden inflation up. Biden is 34. Inflation is 100. Up is 37. But yeah, them all together is 171. So that's a bolt of lightning. So it will be quick. It's also the revaluation, and it's also the River Thames. I think I said to you, was it you I said it to, or I did it on a tweet? When Trump goes around picking out all these places in the earth like Gaza and Greenland, I'm waiting for him to take the City of London. I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if he just marches through, like, we're just going to have the City of London, because the City of London is 185 Donald John Trump, which is the silver reset, the silver exchanges. Like, it's all there. It's been there for ages, And so when I saw that, the 171, I was like, oh. And if you do hyperinflation, which is Biden and, Trump saying Biden inflation up, if you do hyperinflation, so that's 171. If you do the next number up, which is 172, hyperinflation is 172. And so he's putting the warning signs out. I mean, Elon's saying 150. 150's pulled the plug. President Trump is saying Biden inflation up. He's putting that seed out that it's, and that would be a way for. I've said this for many times. I think we'll see how they do it, because they've always got a trick up their sleeve. But it could be that if things go through the roof, like you said, there'll be that crash. And then when there's a redistribution of wealth and things to people, then I think that might be do it through the mechanism of hyperinflation. But they might do something completely opposite. I don't know. But it's interesting that he said that Biden inflation up. So that's only going to continue, isn't it? In the current state of the game right now, it's like that Biden inflation is only going to continue to creep up. And there will be a point where it's probably more than likely going to go into record inflation and probably hyperinflation.
I agree.
That's when it change, like you say, it will go into precious metals. It will go into gold, into silver, and other precious objects and items.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where you could realistically see a massive price increase in something like gold. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in that environment. Gold goes to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 an ounce.
Yeah.
And I've never really positioned gold as something where it's like, oh, you're making a profit. It's more of just the dollar's losing value.
Yeah.
Right. But the dollar's so devalued, it's just they haven't admitted it yet. Right. Because how do they measure the dollar? They measure it with something called the dollar index, right? Or the Dixie. And what that is it's a comparative statistic. So the
But
dollar
this
is strong relative to other world currencies. The other world currencies are just as shit as the dollar is.
Yeah.
They're just maybe just a little worse. So yeah, I would say get out of the system as best you can. Let this stuff, especially if you have retirement accounts. It's like, get your retirement account out of the system, get the gold and silver in your own possession, right? In a place that you have access to, right? And that's what I help people with. Get it in your own possession in a place where you have access. Let this storm pass. And believe me, just think about the like, I love to invest, but this isn't the time to do it, right? You don't want to invest in a system that's falling apart. You want to store the value of your money right now and wait for that period of time where things start getting sorted out. Then you put your money in and invest your money there. Let me tell you something. The only way markets are going at that point is up. And you have a restructured country, you have sanity, you have organization, right? You have real people, real smart, business people running the show. That's the time where you want to strike. It's not right now. Right now, you just want to hold on for dear life, or hodl, as they say.
Yeah, hodl. So take us through briefly, Matt. So I'm not American citizen, obviously, but America's, very close to my heart in many ways. But if I was to call you up today and tell us the number again, it's on the links below, but tell us the number.
It's 480-717-9081.
480 for Arizona, 448 it's Tom, which is always a good number. So if I was to call you up today and just say, hey, I saw the Tom Number Show, tell us more about how you could help me with my portfolio. Just tell me a few things what you could do instantly for folks.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple stuff. We just take a portion, or we take an IRA or 401k. We can take a portion of that. We could stick it right into the physical metals, right? So, for example, here we have on my desk. Get a key here. It's not always easy. We got it, I think. You want to turn it into something physical, something tangible, right? So right here, these are.
Well, if I've got I don't know, whatever it is, my 401k. And then I'm like, what do I do, Matt? Yeah.
We'll turn it right into this stuff. These are 1 ounce silver eagles. You could do bars. I mean, bars are a little cheaper than these. These carry a little bit of a higher premium. I like them because they're stamped, right? So this is produced by the U.S. Mint, right? It's almost like a coin that you'd have, right? It is a coin. And we just take people's IRAs, 401ks, we convert it right into the physical precious metals, right? And the beauty of that is it's tangible. This isn't getting go anywhere. This is physically in your possession. You own this, right? When times get tough, you're going to need it. Yeah, there's going to be a time where we're going to have to, as we said before, the trust between people and their banks, people and their government is going to completely disappear. And I think the only way to get back trust is through stuff like this, because this is stuff where you can, let's say, attach it to the blockchain, right? You attach this stuff to the blockchain, and now you have an actual gold and silver backed currency that isn't going anywhere, right? It can't be manipulated. It can't be stolen from. I mean, it can be, but it would be very obvious. The reason why gold standard is so important is because what did a gold standard do historically? Why, right? People talk about a gold standard. What is it? Well, it does stuff like it keeps price stability. You have little to no inflation. Why are movie tickets today $20, whereas 50 years ago they were 25 cents? It's called inflation, right? And that's since we got off the gold standard, right? We moved to a full fiat system, which is money backed by nothing. The nature of a fiat system is to constantly inflate. So if you were there at the beginning of the fiat system, let's say in 1971, 1972, the first thing you would have noticed is, oh, my home value is going up, right? Okay, that looked great. That was great for a time. Well, so did things in the grocery store. So it's like, yeah, instead of your house being worth 100,000, now it's worth 400,000. But instead of a gallon of milk being 10 cents, now it's $6, right? So it's all relative. It's all relative. So what you want to do is you want to go back to some type of gold and silver backed money, because it keeps price stability. It keeps things sound. It keeps things safe. And that's why I always tell people, it's like when you do it with your IRA or 401k, or even just cash purchase, you're becoming your own bank. You're becoming your own central bank, essentially. And what it's going to do is, as the dollar continues to lose value, or I should say, as the mainstream media continues to admit that there's problems, because they're going to have to admit there's problems, that should continue to push the price of, or I should say, continue to devalue the dollar, and it'll push the price of the precious metals way up. Sorry, Tom. Shit, did I lose you? Am I the only one in here?
Here he is. He's back. Hey, buddy.
Sorry. I was trying to hang up on a call. I was trying to hang up on a call, and I actually accidentally answered it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
But yeah, as I was saying, it should really push up the price of the precious metals. Not that that's, it's just keeping your money level. That's really all it is. It's simple stuff.
Yeah. And in terms of a timescale for people, so if they were to call you this week, if they had a 401k, what's the sort of average? I know everyone, slightly, but what's the sort of timescale and process? So they give you a call, they're happy to, you've answered all their questions. They feel really happy about trusting you with their 401k and guiding them. What's the sort of timescale?
Varies. Usually I would say give it at least. I mean, it depends when the financial companies release the funds. Sometimes we have to push them along, right? With the 401k, you got to request a check, whereas an IRA usually can be sent directly. Okay. I would say, 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes quicker. We had somebody from the show call in. It took them, a week, because things move very quickly. So
yeah,
it just really, it depends on the specific company, who they're dealing with.
Okay.
Certainly a lot of financial advisors, they don't want to see the money leaving the books. So they'll, sometimes try to put a halt to it, because they're obviously, to me, I'm not an advisor, so I don't get paid a management fee. I'm really, I'm a gold, silver storefront. So, you walk into my shop, it's like, I just carry the physical precious metal. I'm not here to, I have no vested interest saying, hey, you got to stay on board with gold and silver. I would say that because I think it's a good place to be right now until things clear up. But other than that, I mean, I'm not an advisor. I don't give people financial advice. I give them insights. I give them insights in terms of what I'm seeing in the world, usually political insights that I think are very telling for what's going to happen in financial markets. And so far, I think I've been pretty spot on.
Good stuff. All right, buddy. Well, thank you. So anywhere between, on average, probably 2 to 4 weeks. So if you want to just give Matt a call, give him a call. Again, what's the number?
480-717-9081. And you can text there too.
Yeah, send him a text, say, hey, when's a good time to call? Or just call. A lot of my audience will probably prefer the calling method.
Sure, absolutely.
Plenty of people as well want to send a text. So call Matt or send a text, and you can talk to this good-looking dude on the other side of the screen. You can't always talk to me. I try and talk to you like this. So if you want to talk to the other half of the two good-looking dudes here, then you can give Matt a call. That's his number. So yeah,
that's right.
There you go. All right, buddy. Well, it's always a pleasure. And
thanks, Tom.
What's going to happen? What, did you see anything over between that? Next show we'll do, because you were away last week, but we'll be back on Monday's schedule at 5 UK, 10 Arizona time in the morning. So that'll be back on Monday. But anything you see or looking at anything that you think might transpire between now and then?
It's tough to say. Anything can happen anytime. I'd be watching for the Cash Patel confirmation. I think it's going to get delayed.
Cash.
His name's Cash, yeah, with a K. I'd be looking at that, because that's going to be the big. That's the the scare event for these people, is that guy getting into office.
Okay.
The hammer.
Here we go. Hammer time. MC Hammer time. Good stuff.
Cool.
All right, buddy.
All
Thanks,
right.
everyone. Good to see
Thanks,
everyone
guys.
in the chat.
Adios.
And, I'll see you tomorrow for the daily update, and I'll be back
Yes,
with
sir.
that on Monday. So cool.
All right, Tom. Thank
Take care,
you.
man. Cheers, guys.
Take
Take
care.
care, man. Bye.